It's vacation time. Are you ready to get away? Far away? VacateWithNate.com has direct access to the travel industry's top brands. Every major travel supplier, including resorts, hotels, tour providers, cruise lines, vacation companies, airlines, and car rental brands in every destination in the world. Log on today and get your travel plans in motion at VacateWithNate.com. And for the individuals who want to turn a passion for travel into a flexible source of income and rewards, reach out to Nate at shopnobletravel@aol.com for more information.
Do you have a passion project you want to bring to life? Let Jamila Adams at Your Service help you. Jamila Adams at Your Service was created to assist businesswomen 40 plus by bringing their passion project to life through website design and marketing. Visit her website, JamilaAdamsAtYourService.com, and register for a free 30-minute consultation. Remember, you have a voice. Use it.
Hey everybody, it's your girl Giggles. Make sure and go check out Listen Up, Listen In podcast with Preezy. Real talk for real people.
Hey everybody, before I even get started, all praises due to Jehovah God and Jesus Christ every day. Amen. Now let's start the show.
Tanya, you ready?
Listen up, listen in. 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 Thanks for tuning in. Let's have a conversation. Talking worldwide, it don't matter your location. What you going through and the topic may have relation. Let's get some motivation. Let's swap out education. Every Friday we heal, laugh, improve, and grow. Put some nutrients in your mind, give you food for the soul. I know you pumped and preparing for your weekend and low. Might as well join the discussion and tune into the show. Listen up, listen in. Listen up, listen in. Listen up, listen in. Listen up, listen in. Listen up, listen in.
Hey everybody, this is Preezy from Listen Up, Listen In podcast. Thanks so much for tuning in. And I have a special guest today. Now, y'all know I always get these special guests. But let me tell you something about this beautiful woman before she comes on and tell her story. A voice for your vision brings her unique methods of motivation to the conversation. She has owned her own brand strategy and marketing from serving the Chicagoland area for over 10 years. She was crowned Mrs. Illinois International 2014, placing in the top 15. She was honored to serve as the executive director of Illinois International from 2018 to 2022, taking Illinois to top 5 in every division and helping to bring home 4 international titles to Illinois. She's a life coach, featured emcee, and motivational speaker, and will soon be expanding her brand to serve animals through a new business, Kingdom Wellness, with a mission to bridge the gap between the animal and human kingdoms through play, training, communication, and healing. And part of this healing will come through children's books with precious life lessons for kids, starring rescued pit bull type dogs. The Pittie Positivity Series. So without further ado, my special guest, Randi Moxi. How you doing, Randi?
I am wonderful, and I just want you to follow me everywhere and introduce me, because the way you flavor words, Queen, it is, I was captivated. I wanted to meet me just because you were reading my bio. That was awesome.
Oh, man, thanks, Randi. I appreciate that. Oh, wow, that's awesome. Randi, you just let me know. I'll be there.
From the Chicago, Queen. I love it.
Thank you so much for being a guest on Listen Up, Listen In podcast. Now, I read your bio, but before we even start, I always like to ask my guests, how is your morning going so far?
My morning is spectacular because I woke up.
That's right, Randi. That's what I'm talking about.
I was some humans, some doctors, some people in my life tried to tell me I wouldn't be alive by this age. So every day I wake up, I say hallelujah, and I seize the day.
Yes. Yes, yes. Now I done read your beautiful bio and it is excellent.
Thank
But
you.
only you can tell your story. So let everybody know who Randi Moxi is and what you do.
That's an interesting question. I love that because in training girls for the pageant world, I always make sure that they have the thing to say for who are you, but it's actually never been presented to me. A woman determined, a survivor determined to thrive and rise, and in doing so, inspiring others and helping them know they can too.
Wow. Nice. Wow. So you were a model, Randi?
A long time ago.
Oh, Randi, I'm looking at this profile pic. It looked like you getting ready to do it again.
No, that's not necessarily the case. When I was younger, I did model a lot. I grew up in the world of pageantry in a very rural area, but it was run by my grandmother. So she basically was helping young women know that if you want to be a coal miner's wife and have his babies and make his food, awesome. Come and meet your girlfriends. Come and know how you don't want to act by the way some people act. Come and know how you do want to act by the way some people act. Come and learn. Come and grow. And you're going to meet the godparents of your children. You're going to have your female spirit circle. You are going to learn lessons and blessings that will be with you for the rest of your life. If you want to stay here, great. But if you want to be on TV, if you want to be a doctor, if you want to be a nurse, if you want to be a lawyer, if you want to do something bigger, I can teach you how to do this sport and get scholarships so that you can go to school and be whoever you want to be, wherever you want to be. Anything you want to do is possible. And don't wear hoochie coochie shorts. That was her speech every summer. So that's how I grew up. So there was a lot of modeling opportunities through that. And I worked with a lot of local photographers in West Virginia and Pittsburgh. But I'm not your typical model. I'm busty and I'm shorter. So it's kind of a niche if I would ever want to pursue that. And I would rather use my voice and my heart than the way I look for something. I think the way I look will add to using the voice and heart and getting it out there, obviously, because I got on Preezy's radar and that's high level status anyway. And I just think that I'm very thankful, and I know that whenever to whom much is given, much is expected. So I'm just trying to use all of the gifts that I have to make the world a better place and to help people know when someone tells you this is going to be your life. If you don't think that suits you, if you don't want it to be, you can manifest your destiny.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's nice. Wow.
Thank you.
So, you wear a lot of hats, Roxy.
Well, crowns.
Crowns, I like that.
We're all kings and queens in the kingdom, and every single season requires you to take or step into many different spotlights. And some of them are just on you to grow and sweat and be alone.
Yes.
And some you need to step into a scenario where the voice for your vision is heard.
You're right. That is true. So, you're in Chicago.
Yes, the suburbs of Chicago with my wonderful husband and 5 rescue pitties.
Wow. Okay. So tell me how you started your career. I want to hear this beautiful story.
It's interesting because the hustle culture made me. And it was even before the hustle culture was really a thing, because I'm a little bit older than most of the people that are experiencing the empathy exhaustion from the hustle culture. I went away to school and I was free and it was going to be amazing. I had a scholarship. I was going to be a performer, musical theater. I had won all these awards in high school. And I was starting my life at 18. And one day I woke up and I felt like an elephant was sitting on my chest and my left arm was having issues. And so I started crying thinking I was having a heart attack, and it gave me panic attacks. And I went to the hospital in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and every single healthcare professional that came into my room that took my vitals said, I don't know how you're not having a stroke with blood pressure this high. So I would start crying more, because if you say the word stroke and you're a performer, you're thinking, well, I can't be an ensemble member. What if I do have a stroke? What if I'm not able to remember lines? What if I'm not able to dance? What if I'm not able to be a contributing member to the team or ensemble that I'm a part of, the cast that I'm a part of? What am I going to do with the rest of my life? This was going to be what I was supposed to do for the rest of my life. This is my destiny. How can you tell me you're taking it away? How can you tell me I might have a stroke that takes it away? So when the doctor came in, I had worked myself up into a little bit of a frenzy, because every nurse or healthcare practitioner that saw me along the way before I finally got to him said, I don't know how you're not having a stroke, because your blood pressure is double what it's supposed to be.
Whoa.
When he walked in, he said, give her something for hysteria, because he saw me crying. And he said, I'll come back. And I said, no, sir. Wait. I'm an intelligent young woman. I'm crying because I thought I was having a heart attack. I'm crying because when I came here, all of your staff is telling me I don't know how you're not having a stroke. I'm 18 years old. Oh. So fix those numbers up there and this will go away. And they started me on psychotropic meds and didn't give me anything for my blood pressure.
Oh my gosh.
So that started a really crazy health journey for me. So anything that I did, I had to do to hustle to pay bills, because I had a ton of medical debt. I had to hustle because I didn't know how long I had on this earth, so I had to make my mark. I had to help everyone. I had to do everything I could to be good on this earth, because I didn't know how long I had. So that's how my career, quote, kind of started. My knowledge, my talent is innate, God-given, praise God. My gifts are from him. Everything we need is from him. But I was given the most wonderful mentors by him in my grandmother and in all of the jobs that I had to do to facilitate the hustle that ended up bringing me some of the most powerful mentors in life. So I had to leave school in Pittsburgh eventually because I got so sick. I was put on these meds that turned me into a zombie. I couldn't think. I couldn't read. I couldn't dance. The coordination was gone just because these were meds I didn't need and they were screwing with my brain chemistry. And so I came home completely feeling like a failure and then ended up going to a state school where I studied communications and theater. Before that, growing up in pageantry with my grandmother, she also ran the animal shelter. So she was producing events and I was her right-hand girl every single step of the way. So I was raised and basically had a doctorate in event production because of this wonderful little honky-tonk woman that just wasn't going to not do a job. So in a man's world, in a culture that is still like you take 1950 and you pop a mason jar over it, she was running the animal shelter and hiring women to work with her and hiring men to answer the phone. Hallelujah.
That's awesome. Wow.
So the ways that I came to do what I do are so beautiful and wonderful, but also from some trauma. So I obviously was very experienced in event production. I obviously got more training at the collegiate level in production, in communications, and in all of these things and all of these wonderful ways. When I got out of school and I had to work, I was bartending, I was serving and just meeting people, connecting. I was serving the community. And in those ways, I ended up doing a consultation for someone who needed an assistant because I didn't want to always be on my feet hustling as a bartender. And it was the owner of a $200 million real estate investment firm. And within weeks, he said, "You're intelligent. I'm going to teach you this. And then I'm going to close this office down. I'm going to give you the furniture. You're going to start your own business. We're going to be your first client. That way, when you're going in and out of the hospital, you can work from your laptop or you can work from home on the times when in between we needed to rest, because you got this, girl." So I ended up running a real estate investment firm for over 10 years. So there's all these wonderful ways that God has brought me to learn several different industries that I can take into life coaching you to see all of the ways that the bad can become good, figuring out who you are and what you're meant to be, and taking every trauma and making it into something that will help other people. And that's what the book that I'm here to talk about is really about.
Wow. How did you, with the high blood pressure, was it hereditary? Like, how did they,
There was never a reason given to me other than we can't explain it. I'm the exception to every rule, and that's across the board, and especially in the medical world. But I mean, big boob, big boobs, big hair, big mouth, big heart. There's very minimal people that have this much big in one little body. So I was the exception to every rule. Girls aren't supposed to do this in West Virginia. Well, I did it even harder, and whenever I started this health journey where my blood pressure was crazy, they put me on mental health drugs that I didn't need to be on. It affected my brain chemistry, affected my kidneys, scarred my kidneys. I can't have babies. There was heart issues in my family, but the only ones that had the heart issues really were either eating poorly or surrounded by smoke or smokers themselves or all of the above.
Right.
And I didn't really fit into that category. I ate really clean. I was a dancer. I was thinking that I was going to be a public type figure. And so I wanted to be mindful, to be my best, feel my best, and look my best. So I was very cognizant of doing it in a little more healthy way than some of my hereditary, connections. But really what they ended up doing is hypertensive diagnosis led to kidney diagnosis. Your kidneys are eventually going to fail. Then it was autoimmune. And I've been diagnosed with every autoimmune disease there is. And whenever something new happens, they just escalate that diagnosis. When within most of these diagnoses, you don't get better, you just get worse. But I find natural ways to get better. And they say, no, you've got to go on a chemo-based drug. And I say, no, I did the drug thing whenever I trusted the doctors at 18. And I ended up having brain damage and kidney scarring because of all of those meds I did not need. So I had to go on a massive detox. So I can't really say to you anything other than diagnoses I don't give power to. But those are the things that were spoken over me that don't get to live within me.
Wow, man. And see, with these drugs, they try to fix one thing, but they damage other things in your body.
Absolutely. Western medicine is a blessing. If I have a tumor, cut it out of my body. Thank you, surgeon. But our entire society is just so focused on go to the hospital, get a pill.
Right.
Go to the doctor, get a pill. And that's all well and good. For example, my father would not be alive because he has diabetes. If he didn't have his injections until my mother corrected it with soup, corrected it with soup, But if he didn't have those injections in the meantime, while she was shifting into the whole food nutrition world to heal him, he wouldn't be here. And he is a 2-time cancer survivor. If he wasn't able to get those things cut out of his body, my father wouldn't be here. I'm so grateful for Western medicine, but I was also traumatized by Western medicine. I was also traumatized by all of the drugs I did not need. And that trauma is something that came around when COVID hit. Because they said I was going to be in a wheelchair by 35, Preezy. Wow. They said I wasn't going to make it to 40, my queen. And when I hit 40, not only hit it, strutting through it in 7-inch heels, I thought I crossed the finish line. Hallelujah, praise God, I'm still here and I've got a life to live and I'm going to do it. And then I started falling. Just tripping here and there. And then it was a full-on same exact fall where I sprained my ankle, I sprained my knee, I ripped my groin and fell on my hip, damaging my SI and sonic booming my pelvic floor. So repetitive injury occurred from 2019 to 2022. And I tried to figure out everything. While I was trying to figure out everything, I just kept on going. I just kept on going, even if I was falling, even if I was limping, even if I needed to walk with a cane, because if it was going to come to a demise, I was still going to make my mark. I was still going to do as much as I could. But sometimes God throws you against a wall because you need to rest and heal.
Wow.
And in COVID era, one of my girlfriends who runs an animal control facility called me and said, hey, I need help with one. And she sent me a picture because I've been working with animals my whole life. My grandmother had the animal shelter. My dad had a very strange menagerie on our property. We had rescue ostriches, emus, peacocks, all kinds of dogs and ponies and chickens. And I have so many different versions of life that are weird. We actually didn't have ostriches. We had emus, but sometimes I get those confused because they're both really tall birds. Yes. And when I met her a while ago, there was a couple of dogs that I helped decompress because of the shelter stress to get them ready to be rescued. So she said, I need help. Like, no one can get near this dog. So I said, okay, well, Thanksgiving's coming up. So this was COVID era. And I said, Thanksgiving's coming up. I know you guys always do the meals for them. Put her in the back. I'll come out an hour early. And I worked with her and I connected with her and I told her to call her Pearl. I would never name a dog Pearl. I had no idea why. And I don't name the lobster in the tank. You know what I mean? I don't name the rescue dogs that I help because that's just like making mom buy the puppy in the window. Right. First of all, adopt, don't shop. Don't ever buy a puppy that's behind a window.
Yes.
But that's just the reason that you don't name. But I heard it in my soul. I just knew it was her. And I said, maybe you'll be able to reach her until I get there. And it helped a little bit, but she was also, whenever they're back there in a shelter, it's audio torture. They see other dogs and they see people and they want attention and they want love and they want out. And it's sensory overload. It's difficult for any creature. It would be difficult. It's like throwing a completely innocent person into prison. It's difficult. You are exposed to things that are just so extreme. It's hard mentally, emotionally, physically, and spiritually. She was dumped in a forest preserve with full teats. So she had full mammary glands and no puppies.
Oh my gosh.
And yeah, and they got her, but she was just always looking for her puppies because she was hurting because the really important nutrients they needed weren't being given to them. Right. So she was hurting physically. She was hurt emotionally about that. I'm sure she was such a good mom. She was obviously bred over and over again at such a young age. She was only 3. Wow. And she was just a trauma baby. So I spent some time with her, and I won't go into what we worked on, but I called the lady up front and I said, I'm going to bring her up. Is her meal ready? She said, there's people up here. You can't bring her up here. I said, I'm going to bring her up. She's fine. And whenever I brought her past some women that were standing there, and then she hopped up on the woman that rescued her, the woman that ran the animal control, wagged her tail and gave her a kiss.
Wow.
And so it was really special, and it was really nice to connect with her. But we had just lost a dog, and I didn't want another one, but I got past her walls, and my job here is done. I feel good about that. She called me a couple weeks later, and she said, I need your help again. And I said, I don't want a divorce. I have enough dogs. And she said, no, honey, I need to man test her. And I know you guys won't sue me if she does something stupid. I said, no problem. I'll ask my husband. We did just lose, his baby, but I think that he would feel good helping another one. And he of course agreed. And I actually took a picture when Pearl told him he was her person.
Aww.
And I knew it, but I didn't say anything. I just basically manifested and prayed, if it's meant to be, he will figure it out and he will let me know. And no matter what I ask him to do, he does. And if he asks me to be the mother of that baby, I'm her mom.
Right.
And then I just let it be. And a month later, but I networked her because I'm a hustler. I networked her, and finally the rescue that I really wanted to take her went and sent me a picture. And I was in the city doing service work with my girls. It was before everything kind of shut down, and we were able to get into some places that were privately owned before the world got really weird. And I sent the picture to my husband, and he said, we have to talk. I haven't been able to stop thinking about her. So on Christmas Eve, right before everything got completely shut down for COVID crazy, she came home to be with us.
Nice.
Yeah. And it was during the time where I was falling all the time. And so I was trying to train her. I've been training dogs my whole life, and I couldn't reach her. And I felt like a failure. And so I just laid on my UV hot stone mat because I'm extra, trying to heal all of these injuries, and just have her lay with me and talk to her and just try to help her understand she's safe, she's loved. But then she would still try to kill cars and try to attack anybody that came near. And I just didn't know how to reach her. So don't start a sentence with so. Any coach that has worked with people successfully, anyone that is an expert in any realm, whether it's pageantry or modeling or communications or teaching people how to speak, you always have a toolbox of people to call when you're in your head or you can't figure something out. My girlfriend was an animal communicator and a human counselor.
Wow.
And I called her. Her name is Sam. And I said, sometimes I love her. Sometimes I don't like her. And I know it's because I'm failing her. How do I reach her? And she said, Randi, are you ready? And that's my line. Anytime somebody asks me to help and I get truth put on my soul to share with them about how they need to weed so they can bloom and grow and knock down those walls that they've built around themselves, those limiting beliefs, those really hard things that they don't want to admit happen to them or that they're feeling or that they think about themselves. That's my line. Are you ready? Because if you're not, I don't even want to say it, And I said, oh, this is going to be good. Absolutely. Absolutely. And she said, you've got to figure out what you don't like about yourself because she's basically you as a dog.
Wow. What?
Yeah. And if you don't focus on your PTSD and healing it and unwinding it, then you're not going to be able to help her.
So you was diagnosed with PTSD?
Never, not one time had I even heard that from all of the health things, all of the counseling that I've been through. all of the holistic, all of the Western, all of the alternative, all of it. Never, not one time has anyone who's heard my story said, you have PTSD from this. And it was unbelievable. First of all, I raged out because that's my go-to in emotion. I get mad to process it. And then, why didn't anybody tell me this? And then it's all the why, and how could you not know this? And then the self-loathing and the self-attacks. And then you stop and move past it. You feel it, you process the emotion, and you move past it. And you come up with a plan. So I just needed to know everything. So I started reading, and I ordered books, and I started figuring out where my PTSD occurred. When I got boobs when I was little and I got bullied, when I was sexually abused, when I was told repeatedly I was going to be in a wheelchair and die and my kidneys were going to fail, when I grew up in an animal shelter and all I wanted to do as a little girl was save them. And you can't save them all. I wanted to save every animal in the world because I saw what this small town's animals were going through, and I just knew innately it was everywhere. And because I couldn't fix it, it traumatized me significantly. Now, did I have fun as a little girl? Did I become all of those puppies and kitties girl? And give them love and what they needed in that incredibly stressful time? Yes. But just like everything in life, there was so much awesome and there was some awful.
Right. Wow.
So I had to determine all of the awful and get to work on clearing it. I can't determine all of her awful, but as I'm learning and as I'm growing, I'm able to connect with her deeply because I don't have all of that emotional, self-loathing, stupid human crap that was getting in the way of just loving her and being okay with her where she was.
Right.
And letting her evolve and grow the way she needed to as an individual, the way I needed to as an individual. And every individual and creature should be treated as an individual. And so I laid in my bed and I phoned friends. And many friends didn't phone back. But the ones that did, I was just able to say, I'm lonely. I feel broken. I don't know what's going to happen whenever I can fully rise and walk again because I feel so much has been lost because we're shut down for COVID and all of the things I do are social. All the ways I make money are social. And I don't know what's going to happen. And thank you for being there for me. And so then I would get off the phone and I would talk to Pearl. What should we do? What should we do when we just have to lay here? And thank you for being my friend too. What should we do? And I just kept focusing on her name. Mm-hmm. And a pearl is when sand gets trapped in a clam and the trauma from that inside the body results in one of the most beautiful gems that does not need cut or shaped or anything done to it. It's just perfect right as it is.
Yes.
A pure product of trauma. And I love kids. Kids and pits are my thing. I can't have babies. So all of my babies are the rescue pits that no one would want or take. And they all live copacetically, happily, completely unreactively, totally fine within my world. We had a couple of bumps there in the beginning, but eventually it all evens out to just be a wonderful, beautiful, peaceful, loving family.
Wow.
So I decided to write a book. And I was already writing a book for my other older girl, but as I was praying on it and I was working through PTSD pearls, trying to find my PTSD pearls, the different versions of myself that were the pearls that saved me through those eras so that I could heal them and polish them to make them as beautiful as they were, let them come into me instead of being previous versions of myself when triggered or during the oversensory scenarios. And I just kept thinking, kids need to know this. When they feel something, they need to share it with people and process it. They need to know young not to judge any creature or human by the way they look. And they need to know if they feel judged by it, there's always someone, there's always a community that God provides for us that will help. And if we share what we're going through, if they're real friends, they will find a way to save the day. Mm-hmm. And that's what a pity pool party is. And Pearl's the star, and a bunch of my preteen queens from when I was a pageant director are the main characters at the party.
Animals just want to give you unconditional love.
And they're at our mercy. Children and animals are at our mercy, and we exploit them and let them down as a society.
Especially
in a
kids.
Huge way.
Especially little kids, man.
That's why I want this book to be so successful that I can just put all the money into the kids and the pits that are forgotten by the system.
Now you know pits. When you said pit bulls, I was like, ooh. I love them. I think they're beautiful, but their reputation.
Yeah.
So let me ask you. Why? Yeah. Why? I know pits, everybody say, oh, they got this special lock. When they bite you, they
don't.
To kill you. They try to rip you. They go straight to your neck. You cannot open their mouths. They have a special lock. No. Why do pit bulls, out of all the animals, all the dogs in the world, why is their reputation so horrible?
It's not the breed, it's the deed. It's what people have taught them to do. Yes. And they are so loyal and so capable. And if they have to do the bad thing they're taught to do to survive, they will do it and do it well, because every single creature has a survival mode. So if evil people take these beautiful animals and teach them to fight and attack, they do it well. I mean, in my book, it says, it speaks to that, but more generally, that pit bulls are superior in intelligence, strength, and loyalty. When taught to do the wrong things, they are efficient in accomplishing what they are made to do to survive. Animals teach us so much, and we must help save and guide them to better lives than this. I have met so many rehabilitated from being a bait dog pit bull that have more love and more worth than some people that I've met that just choose darkness. And the people that are teaching them and using them and greedily making money off of them are the reason they have this reputation. If two pit bulls get out, finally get free of the backyard that they are taught how to fight in, they're going hunting. They don't know any other way. If someone comes at them, they think you're a danger, or they're taught that they need to attack you. And it's just, and sometimes with the overbreeding and the inbreeding that these people that are trying to basically make money off of these beautiful creatures in a very violent and terrible way, with the crossbreeding and everything, sometimes there might be something upstairs that's a little cross, and they might be just aggressive, or they might be so traumatized they are just aggressive. Guess what? That's the case with any breed. You meet any Chihuahua, and there is a really high chance, because of how overbred they are and how the puppy mill world is for those little toy breeds, some of them just are chemically, genetically, unfortunately, damaged to the point where they're just going to be aggressive. But that is the case for any breed. But most breeds, and if you look at the list of the most likely to bite or the number of bites reported, Pitbull's not number one. But because it's a pit bull, it's got a block head, and everybody thinks that they lock their jaws and nothing can open their mouth. I can put my hand in any of my dog's mouths. If they have a bully stick because they're chewing, they don't lockjaw on that and not let me have it. You know what? It's all these myths. It's all of these fantastical stories that create this awful, violent aura because it's sexy and it sells. So that's why those dog bites make the news.
Well, Randy, you've seen the stories how the dogs attack the kids at the house. They live with the dogs now, and they were mauled to death. You know, we've heard a lot of stories of the animals. They mauled the family members, or they mauled the other person's dog. Is it true that pit bulls are just naturally mean?
No.
Okay.
It's not true that any creature is natural or human is naturally mean.
Okay.
Are there things, just like with your dog experienced trauma.
Yes.
And he reacts. He reacts based on if he's vulnerable and you touch him in that vulnerable state and he's shown that he will do that repetitively, he will react in that way. At some point, sometimes they are so traumatized, that's just something you have to accept. It's also sometimes something that you can train out. Here's the thing that a lot of people do not understand. When you have to treat every creature and every human as the individual they are and take into consideration what they've gone through.
Yes.
You know, everybody has this romanticized version of certain breeds,
right.
but here is the thing about this particular breed. Because they've got such a reputation, when the press gets a hold of something like that, oh, this is something that's sensational, that's controversial, that's something that we've got to make sure that this breed is banned for good. So we've got to keep putting that out there. But that's just like banning black people. That's just like what's happening in our world to try to stop at anything other than white. And here's the fun thing about our country. None of us are white. We all came over to create this country together from very different countries, and there is so much beautiful ethnicity and depth and culture within. There's also so much trauma. But it's just like saying only black people have guns and shoot people, and only pit bulls bite people. It's racism, but in the animal world.
Right.
It's horrible. Are they a product of their environment? That's what's going on. If you've got to have a gun to survive and have to use it to survive, you're going to do it. If you've got a bite to survive, if you've got a bite to eat, you're going to do it. And it's just a product of their environment. It's the people. This creature is never going to be born and just want to kill everything. It's just like a baby. Hate is taught. And dogs don't hate. They love, but they also want to obey. They also want to do whatever they are taught to do because they know their food is tied to it. They know if they get any love, it's tied to it. And that is really, it's not something that can be changed. People's opinions can't be changed. And people aren't going to put money towards pit bulls, and people aren't going to put money towards our children that need fed, that are about to age out of the system. And really, the kids that are in the system, when they're about to age out, they think their only way to go is prostitution or drugs. They don't think there's anywhere to go or anything to do, or unless it's back to the home they were taken away from, further get raped and beat. And it's just such an evil little catechism that we're kind of put, these kids in these pits are put into. They're just pushed aside. On the pit side, they're put down. For the kids side, they're just forgotten. They're just put out into society. We're done with you. Just try to survive on your own. And some can rise up and survive. But no matter what, on both sides, they need help, and we don't give it. I'm trying to set a huge thing in motion to try to let the kids and, pits of the world know that they're loved and that there's someone that wants to be a voice for them, and that I want the kids to not be on their tablets all the time. If you're feeling something, don't just fall down into the tablet and watch a show or play a video game or do all these things and hide from your feelings and process the things that you need to get up and out, because if you don't process them, then it's going to catch up with you later.
Go ahead.
So in teaching kids, process your emotions, your friends will show up to save the day. It's good to talk to your friends, and it's also good to not judge people by the way they look. There's so many different levels to this story, but what also was going on in our country and continues to go on in our country, even though I am a white mutt. My dad's side is Russian. My mom's side is Irish, and everyone I've met, especially if I've got a spray tan, they think I'm some sort of whatever ethnicity they are. If they're European, they start speaking to me in the language that they speak. In almost every African American I've met in person thought I was also black.
I thought you were too.
I love that.
Mm-hmm.
Because here's the thing. Here's a pretty white woman that, because you think I have a little bit of ethnicity and I've got a larger voice because I'm accepted in more rooms than you, then I'm going to be fighting for you in that room you're not allowed in. I'm going to use my voice for that.
Yeah, you look like you, I won't say black. I just say I thought you were mixed.
Yeah. That's what everyone says.
I didn't see that you were white. I thought you was mixed.
Yeah, I'm a white mutt.
You have nice features.
I was friends.
If you got a little black in you, you already got nice features anyway. So it don't even matter. But I'm just saying.
and I would love to be a Nubian queen. I think they're beautiful. I take it as a compliment every time someone says something like that to me, as long as it's not said in an offensive way. I've been called the N-word.
Oh, no, we don't do the N-word.
No, it's crazy, but I was really good friends. I was really good friends with a beautiful African American woman who's doing these amazing things with the NBA. She was a former dancer and then manager, choreographer of the Lovables, and now she's doing this amazing thing called Indoor Charities. And I worked with her for years whenever I was a pageant director as part of a big event where she was featuring a bunch of dancers on the Chicago Bulls court. And we went to lunch one day and she said, "Oh my gosh, I have this speaking opportunity for you with the Black Chamber of Commerce." And she goes on and on and on to tell me about the opportunity. And I just kind of sat and looked at her and I said, "I'm not black, right?" She said, "What?" This whole time I thought, what? Was so funny, but it happens all the time. And I'm not offended unless you walk up to me and point in my face and say, "What are you?" Because that's also been presented to me in a way. First of all, you're invading my personal space. Second of all, it's none of your business what I am or how old I am or any of that. Why does it matter? And that's kind of a brash way I've been approached to try to figure out if I'm accepted, because I've got to make sure, we've got to make sure she's the right ethnicity. And that's just a shame.
Yeah,
We're all mixed, no matter what level it is, what ethnicity it's technically, divided as or defined as within a person, within a family, within a culture. There's a little bit of everything within.
So when you mentioned the product of environment, right?
Yes.
So you got a Caucasian lady who doesn't like white people, black people, and just like that incident, the lady shot the lady at the front door. Like, so it's hard to believe that there are people out there that just really, really hate another color, but feel like, okay, I can have a gun, but is that product of environment? Like, you know what I mean?
I believe it is. I think with every creature, it's nature versus nurture. And when and when the nurture is evil, when the nurture teaches a certain race, does a certain thing, is a danger to you, a certain dog is a danger to you, and guns are a right. And I grew up in West Virginia. My family has a gun collection. I have no problem, but we were raised to respect what it is, and that it was a wonderful thing that families that don't have a lot of money are able to hunt the overpopulation of deer, control the deer population, and have food for years to come in their freezer. It's so wonderfully a part of the culture there, but no one needs an automatic gun, and no one needs to let a child get a hold of an automatic weapon that is designed for war. It's just they're taught that it's okay because of all the video games they're allowed to play, that this is a way to kill all of your enemies and you'll feel better and you'll win the game. If they take your life, you go down in a blaze of glory. That nurture that's turned evil is producing people to be evil and hate. It's taught. You are not born with hate in your heart.
Right.
You might have something upstairs that's a little off, that might make you a little spazzy violent in ways, but it's always just to protect yourself. It's never to attack or kill. You are not born with an instinct to kill. We are born with a survival mechanism that sometimes we have to use to survive. But that survival is used as an excuse whenever they want to kill based on the color, or kill based on the creature, or hurt or abuse or beat based on the color, based on the creature.
So all this is learned behavior.
I believe so.
Me too.
Yeah.
Wow, it's amazing. I love the fact that you love animals, and keep it up with the pits. I mean, I love all dogs, and I just think that, and my dogs are so nice. They're friendly. They're overly affectionate, but I love when animals are like that. You know, you still protected with them because animals got teeth, no matter what. But it's how they raised. It's how they're raised, and it's a shame how pit bulls have such a bad rep. I mean, you literally have to get insurance. They are blocked from certain places, like certain places. You got a pit now, you can't come here. So it's bad that it's like that, but, you know, just keep doing your organization. But this book, I want you to talk a little bit, give me a little bit of more info about this book again.
A Pittie Pool Party is a beautiful story, and as I said, I used some of my preteen queens as inspiration for the characters. All the little girls within are about 10, but little boys would love this story too, because there's a puppy and there's a pool and there's a lot of fun. But Becca has to tell Pearl, her newly rescued puppy sister, some hard truths about the way people view her breed. But her friends save the day by showing love to them both in a very special way. And it's called A Pittie Pool Party. And I love to play on the pity verbiage and the Pittie Positivity mission, because there is an actual feeling pity component. Like she feels bad for her little Pittie that is judged by the way she looks. And even if dogs were allowed at the pool, she probably shouldn't go because of her breed, and that's not fair. And she had to tell her that she couldn't go because of that. And it hurt her feelings, and it made her feel bad that she had to tell her sister that, her member of her family that. And she talks to her mom and talks to her friends, and it ends up being a wonderful story for kids to know that judging any person or creature before knowing them as an individual can cause harm to them and others. And this book just embodies the incredible power of vulnerability and friendship and inclusivity, acceptance, and animal rescue. So it's really great for kids, and when it starts selling huge, I'm going to be able to benefit kid and pit rescues all over the country. So I hope it's incredibly successful, and I have all of the stories lined out for the Pittie Positivity Series, and I'm going to star every single one of my rescue pitties, here and gone, to share this story of how, some will be empowering our elders, and some will be empowering our veterans, and some will be empowering not fighting and just working it out and living copacetically. There's a lot of really great things that I think the kids that we have today that are stuck in the era of screens and just the power of picking up a book and reading words that will plant seeds in their heart that will grow for years to come. It's very special.
Wow, that's awesome. You're a life coach.
Yeah, some days.
All right, tell me a little bit about that with life coaching.
My grandmother was basically the storyteller and life coach of our town growing up, and I've done several coaching series where you learn the best way to approach people, and then you just have to develop your own method. So I help people answer 3 questions. Who are you? What do you want? And how are you going to get it? And those 3 questions, the answers to them will change with every season of your life, with every spotlight you are in, whether it's on you or you're being out there to be your best version, your brightest light to shine on others, to be a light in the darkness for them, to be a resource for them. And I have a very different coaching method. I'm very clear about, let's get succinct about your brand or your personal mission, whatever your intent is for learning and growing with a coach. But just know, I'll always be here for you. I love you. We will always be connected. I'll always be a resource for you. But I won't give you more than 10 sessions, because if by the end of those 10 sessions I can't kick you out of the nest to go fly, then you've got to find another way, because I won't let you allow this to be another crutch.
Right.
Because so many people take this class or do this thing or sign up for this or sign up for that or fall into all the Instagram ads. And so many people lose themselves in the minutia, in the overwhelming abundance of information that's coming at us through screens. And they don't really live their purpose because they're scared. They've got limiting beliefs, or they don't know what it is. So we've got to figure it out. If you're lost, I'll find you. But then you've got to take the steps to get to that next level, because that next level is only for you. It's not for a coach. It's not for anyone else to say, I did that. You've got to make a choice to take the steps that we've defined to reach your goals to get there.
Nice.
Yeah.
So where can we find you? Where can we find you? Are you on Facebook, Instagram?
I am everywhere. I'm on Facebook and Instagram and LinkedIn. I'm not very active on LinkedIn. My website is randimoxi.com. It's Randi with an I, Moxie with an I. My books are there, and there's a form to fill out if you want to reach me. It's just a splash page. I'm real simple. I don't feel the need for a bunch of extra things about me. I'd rather use me to help you.
I got to get a copy of your book.
Yes, you do, Queen. It is on Amazon. Or you can go to my website and it takes you to Amazon. And when you get the book, if you wouldn't mind taking a picture and putting it up with a review, that is how Bezos makes sure that you are someone that his little network will refer. So every time somebody says, I'm going to buy a book, I have to throw in there, don't forget to take a picture and put it in the review, because that's basically what makes you credible in this indie author world. So I would really appreciate it if you would support Kids and Pits by purchasing the book and reviewing it. And I hope you love it. I mean, just after having a conversation with you, all signs are pointing to you will.
Absolutely. Give us an inspirational quote for all those people out there that have pets, have animals. Because you'll hear my message when I end the show. I say it all the time to my listeners. But I want you to tell me, give me some, say, blah, 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 blah. Tell me, I'm sorry. To all the animal lovers out there or people who have pets, please give them a positive quote, because pets are beautiful and they need to be treated right. All animals and children. But pits have such a, oh boy, rough little bad stamp on their back. Say something for the people out there that have them.
Thank you for saving a beautiful soul. Thank you for not judging that soul based on a reputation for a breed that is not their fault. It is a fault of our society. We have failed them, and you didn't. And I'm proud of you for that. And thank you for saving any kid or any pit that you can in any way that you can, because it's these small little things that will change the world for both of them.
Awesome. And before we end this, what's the future for you, Randi? What's the next step?
Whatever God wills it to be.
I like that. That's awesome. That's awesome. I just want to thank you so much for coming on my show. I appreciate you so much. I want you to come back now, because I know you got a whole lot of other adventures that you're going to be getting into. And
well, I hope so. And I'm completely honored and so grateful that you had me on, and I'd be willing to come back anytime. I know we could talk about anything. So you just let me know.
Yes, I sure will. And I just want to let everybody know out there, y'all know how I always end my shows. Live, laugh, love. Love you first, because you can't love anyone or anything unless you love yourself first. Stay healthy, stay focused, keep God first in your life, and hug and squeeze your family members and your pets, especially the pets. Hug and squeeze them just a little bit tighter every day, because we just don't know. We just don't. And we just got to stay focused. We got to keep going. All right. I love you, Mommy and Daddy, forever. And Randi, thanks again for being on the show. I want you to hold on, because I still want to talk to you a little bit. But thank you for coming on Listen Up, Listen In podcast. God bless.
Hello, everyone. This is Randi Moxi, and you've just been listening to Listen Up, Listen In podcast with Preezy. Preezy, thank you so much for having me. If anyone wants more information about me, please visit randimoxi.com. All the love, all the light, all the pittie positivity.
Oh, thank you.
That concludes this episode of Listen Up, Listen In with your host, Preezy. Hey, yo, Preezy, tell them how to keep in touch, baby.
Go to Instagram, Listen Up, Listen In 5687, and on Facebook, Listen Up, Listen In. You can also email me at listenuplisten5687@gmail.com. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, by following me on social media, you'll be able to see all the platforms my podcast is on. Wherever you consume my podcast, hit the subscribe button so you can be notified when a new episode is posted. Rate, review, and share this podcast.
Listen up, listen in, listen